Hi, my name is Tamta and welcome to My Kitchen Her Story, where we celebrate all things female leadership. Here we aim to inspire, educate, and empower. Today's guest went from being an executive assistant to close protection operative to a secure lifestyle advisor as a CEO and a founder of UMBRA International Group, a unique security concierge and a secure lifestyle services business. She was shortlisted as Entrepreneurial Woman of the Year in the Citywealth Awards, a Fellow of the Royal Society of Arts, and a Companion of the Institute of Leadership and Management. She sits on the British Army Gender Advisory Council and is the liveryman of the City of London. She's an ambassador of the veteran charity supporting wounded veterans and Veterans Aid. She has a personal interest in making an impact in reduction of violence, in domestic violence against women and little girls. She mentors young people, especially those struggling to find their own way. She's the CEO and founder of UMBRA International Group. Please welcome Kate Bright. Kate, thank you so much for being here.
No problem. I'll take being called a badass any day of the week.
You know what? When I was thinking about one word, how to describe you, I just couldn't find any better word. I mean, I could have done this introduction for another 10 minutes, but I really had to cut it short.
I'm sorry, and the security industry loves its long acronymic things as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I mean, I had to do a few takes on some of the achievements that you've accomplished and you've done so far. But I'm so happy for you to be here. We have a lot to talk about.
We do.
But before we get started into all the juicy subject and all things security, I would love for you to tell me, what are we cooking today?
So today we are going to be cooking my secure lifestyle smoothie.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing now. It is a thing now.
Okay.
It's what powers me through every day. It's, I think, the essence of the wealth of health and where I place so much importance on being healthy in body and mind, and it sort of encapsulates all of the things, all of the ingredients, and all of the companies whose ingredients I use every day, some of whom I know personally. So there's my secure lifestyle smoothie and my breakfast of champions omelette. So yeah, the two
I haven't
things.
had a breakfast yet, so let's go. Let's do this. I'm excited about that. Amazing. Can you tell us what are the ingredients? Because you came with like a suitcase of ingredients. So can you walk us through a little bit what is it that you're going to be using, and then we can get started while we
Sure, and don't ruin my reputation of being low maintenance, but this is what goes into the secure lifestyle smoothie. So the base, of course, is a lot of vegetables, mostly vegetables, not fruit, to reduce my sugar content. But we got space goods, which is mushroom coffee, mushrooms, functional mushrooms, proven to be really amazing for all sorts of health concerns. Mm-hmm. We've got Willie's apple cider vinegar, which is amazing for regulating blood sugar. I'll talk about why I'm obsessed with blood sugar. Moju, the wonderful Moju, who do turmeric, they do ginger shots, so we put a splash of that in there. The wonderful guys at Bare Biology, this is marine collagen. Lots of people talk about collagen. Uh-huh. This is the one that I recommend. Vital all-in-one, so that's got all of your adaptogens, all of your things from broccoli to bromelain to aloe vera gel, all in one little spoonful, because we're busy women, right? We just want to have something on the go. And then a few more extra mushrooms there, which I put in capsule format into the smoothie.
Amazing. I love that. And then we have some turmeric root, we have some ginger, rocket, celery, and then we have some ingredients for the omelette as well.
So we've got, still with the super smoothie, we've got the blueberries, we've got chlorella powder, we've got linseed powder, we've got hemp protein, chia seed, matcha, and cinnamon.
Well, I hope you got that all. That's
there you go.
I mean, I guess like once you buy that, then you just store it.
I've worked it out. Yeah, per morning, I've worked it out to be about £3.50. So about the cost of your prep.
Wow. I mean, yeah, for the amount of ingredients you have in there. And then we are also making omelette.
Yep. So the omelette of champions is 3 eggs. Particularly if I've done any sort of weight bearing exercise in the morning, 3 eggs is my go-to. within which we put the chili flakes and turmeric. I love a slight little hint of warmth in the morning. More rocket, because you can never have enough.
Yeah.
And a little dab of mozzarella.
Amazing. Let's get cooking. What should I help you with, since I'm sous chefing
So
today?
the key thing about the Secure Lifestyle Super Smoothie is that it is very, very quick and easy.
Okay.
It's not about precise amounts. It's about putting it all in and blitzing it all up on the go. And I literally take it out of the door with me.
Okay.
So we can just throw it all together if you like.
Wonderful. Let's get started with that while you tell me, how the hell did you go from being an executive assistant to being in a security business? Also, I mean, we both worked in that area.
Yeah.
There are not many women there.
No, there's not. No.
So
no.
Please tell me your story while we
so
stuff your blitzer.
Stuff the blitzer. So, yeah, so where do I even start? I mean, it's been 10 years now that I've held what's called a close protection license.
What does a close protection license entail even?
So it's the sort of fancy word for bodyguard. So it enables you to actually function as a bodyguard in this country. And the training that you undergo to take that is, on a basic level, it's 160 hours of learning across all sorts of disciplines, not just kind of out and about doing the kind of practical side of things, but a lot of theory, a lot of planning. I think a lot of people think that security is all about, you know, Kevin Costner and excitement and Hollywood, and actually it's a lot of Excel spreadsheets and things that I loved when I was a personal assistant. So you know, love me an Excel spreadsheet and a bit of a plan.
And I would imagine it requires a lot of preparation.
Absolutely.
A lot of analysis, a lot of data gathering and processing.
Yep.
And then making the informed decision from back of all of that data.
100%. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. So the more you plan and the more, like in anything in life, right? If you've got another plan A, plan B, plan C, being an entrepreneur, you know, you don't just go with your plan A. I mean, get in touch if you have, because that's awesome. The reality of life is that the more you actually plan for different things coming along, a pandemic, a Brexit, or whatever it is that's caused change. And the security industry is comprised of amazing men and women. And when I was working in family office all those years ago, I just was working with so many amazing people, and I was encouraged to go and do the training myself. So
amazing.
That's the story.
Let's get started with the smoothie.
Yes.
So
could you just chop that for me? Take that end off.
Yep.
So the key to this is having organic ingredients where possible, particularly celery.
Perfect.
So again, the idea is
wonderful.
Everything in. We don't even need to chop some of these. I keep everything in the freezer as well. So literally, I pull my freezer drawer out in the morning. Yeah. Put it all in.
Portion it out.
Portion it all out.
Love it. So Kate, tell me, you were the executive assistant job that you had. It was at a family office.
Yeah. So I worked for 3 family offices. If you could just chop that. Between when I left university in the early 2000s, and it was during the course of working with these families. All of them had security teams, and I was managing the security teams. So I was, you know, totally immersed in security from the moment I left university. So the training was actually the icing on the cake, because I'd been managing the function for so long that it just seemed like a natural progression. So and I'm one of only now 6.25% of the 16,000 close protection operatives in the UK are female, which was 5.25% in 2018. So it's like
I was going to say,
shift.
it used to be less, but year on year.
So I'm taking a 1% rise since 2018, when in my TED talk I talked about invisible security, which is effectively what a sort of a more modern approach to security is, making it blendable. You know, you don't want to walk down the street and think, oh, is there a person with a earpiece in? That might be a security person. So the modern security, modern risk and threat, particularly the rise of cyber and digital, we speak about invisible protection. What better than to increase the gender diversity of the security industry? So that's become my de facto challenge, to encourage more women, particularly not from military backgrounds. This is the other thing. You know, I'm a former personal assistant, executive assistant.
Right.
I'm speaking to, this morning I spoke to a woman coming out of a very high position within the London Fire Brigade service. She's worked in a great team. I would love her to do her training. A lot of former sportsmen and women. So, you know, if the Lionesses, you know, want to get in touch when they retire, we've got ex-rugby women who are coming out of rugby and all sorts of sports.
Amazing.
They've got the teamwork, they've got the ethos, they can plan, they can lead.
They have a discipline.
100%.
Right?
100%.
And you definitely want that in this sort of a job.
1000%.
And it's really interesting. I would love to hear what is the reaction that you've been getting from people in the industry when they saw you as a woman with the title that you have, with the job that you do, being such a huge, impactful part of the system?
So I think I've been really lucky that I've had a lot of man ambassadors, as I call them. So my brother is also in the military. There's a great sense of camaraderie, and particularly as I've worked within it for so long, it's not like I've popped up and gone, hey guys, I've got a close protection license. There's evidence to support me actually working and helping and guiding the operators that I've worked with over the years to find jobs. So I think when you've been invested in their own career journey, for me to then set up shop, it was actually probably a natural progression, because the phone started ringing the moment that I did my training with clients and my community of operators saying, hey, you know, if you hear of anything, and there's only one me. So I was going out and doing the various projects, but also, you know, clients were saying, well, while you're doing that, we need a woman in this team. Where's another? So it was a very natural, organic process. And I think, what's that phrase, you know, first they mock you, then they join you. I never experienced any of that. If I've ever experienced a no, I find a workaround. No is not an acceptable word in my dictionary.
And that's very rare.
I just think if you do it with kindness and positivity and collaborative spirit, you know, we collaborate across the board. And, you know, that is, I think, the secret to any business or any personal success, is how collaborative you can be, particularly in a crazy perma-crisis world like we live in now.
Absolutely.
I need the coconut water.
Oh, I have that for you.
Amazing. That is the glue that binds it.
We almost forgot it.
We didn't though. Fight a cocoa.
I know, we just wanted to show. Let's just pretend that it was meant to be in the fridge.
Exactly.
Chilling.
So you can use water, you can use, I would use filtered water just to get the benefits of it being organic. The trick is to blitz the vegetable and the fruit before you then add the powder, so at least you've got the kind of solid base. So I'll give that a quick blitz.
Let's do that. Hey, okay. Huh, yeah, a lot of veggies.
A lot of veggies.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would even drink that like that.
So I will often, so as I'm making the omelette, I'll often drink a little bit of that so that you've got then enough room to put the powders. Do you want to try a little bit?
Sure.
Here you go.
Yumsies.
It's quite thick.
Ooh.
I mean, a lot going on.
So gingery, I love it.
Pop a little bit more coconut in. Right.
Oh my God, it's delicious.
So you've got enough of the blueberry is the key. So if you don't use blueberry, use cherry, particularly if you're training every day, because cherry is really good for recovery. Can you?
Is this what you make all your clients drink?
So,
and change their breakfast?
So we've got a real thing about the 4 pillars of security being physical, digital, reputational and emotional.
And I want to dive into in all of that.
I would love to.
Yeah.
But if we go back to front, if you don't feel safe, that doesn't matter what kind of fancy project or humans that we use to protect you. And the primary kind of bedrock of emotional safety is how physically and mentally fit you are. So I'll regularly take my clients into hyperbaric oxygen chambers and all the sort of, I'm a seeker, and I love the idea that we could have clients that not only are feeling safe, but are able to be great philanthropists, great impact investors. So we really feel like we're at that bedrock of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs in what we do. So a lot of what I do, my clients are like, what is all of this, what do you eat for breakfast? And so my secure lifestyle super smoothie is quite popular.
I love that. So you said 4 pillars, and you can go ahead and put your powders in.
So physical, digital,
digital, reputational,
and emotional.
Let's start with physical, and we touched upon that already. Yeah. So it's all about what you put inside and the workout, I would imagine, that's coupled with that.
So physical is actually physical protective security.
Oh, it's not the physical health part.
No, so if we park the emotional security bit and we go to the physical or protective, as it's sometimes known. So that's all your people, places, property. So that's your property reviews. That's your how many human beings do you need to secure a building or your home? What are your property portfolios like globally? Do they have the same kind of systems and processes, and are you able to check in on your app to see and make sure that your assets and property across the world are safe? Do you know what people are protecting you? Have you done the background checking and the vetting and the screening? So physical is there's quite a lot just in that one pillar.
So basically anything that surrounds you physically.
Exactly that.
Right?
People,
properties, places. Okay.
So anything where you're moving and traveling or leaving one place to go to another, like the close protection or bodyguard training, teaches you all about those weak, vulnerable moments, which is normally when you leave one place to go to another.
Right. So, okay, so we covered the physical. Do we want to go then onto the mental?
Digital?
Yeah.
Digital.
Okay.
So digital. So that the funny thing about the word cyber, a bit like the word security, it conjures up a lot of emotion for people, and it means different things to different people. So when we say digital, we also mean IT, we also mean cyber. We mean anything that's basically in the palm of your hand that you use in the sort of invisible sense, which is data, which is all of the things that I find really exciting that link to your physical risk. So what the best clients that we work with realize is that you can't exist as a physical human without protecting your digital life as well.
Would that also include digital footprint?
100%.
Right? But also I want to almost go one step deeper there, and there is your digital footprint, but then there is a passive digital footprint that is left behind by other people surrounding you, and by accident or not, including you in their footprint,
Absolutely.
therefore creating your digital footprint.
Which moves us onto the reputational piece. When you buy a property, you look at the floor plan. You look at whether that works for you and your lifestyle. The digital footprint is a digital version of that. And we would always say to a client that's coming to us for the first time, let's do like a health screening. Let's look at your physical protective. Let's do a snapshot, like a blood. Let's take a snapshot of a moment in time. A digital footprint, when done really well, will give you an executive summary, 1 page, of all of the things that if somebody wanted to take advantage of a vulnerability that you have, say, online, they would actually go and look at ways that they could do that through your associations. So part of the digital footprint report is your association linkage and your maps of association.
Right, so like people you hang out with,
exactly.
your family,
media.
where you go to the gym,
Absolutely.
where you grab your morning coffee, all of that.
Yeah, and we would be looking at doing the digital footprint in the mind of the negative party, if you like. So if I was going to attack Kate Bright, what information is there right now about her that would be used? Is it an association that rightly or wrongly is linked to me in my digital footprint? And so that's why I have my own done about every 6 months. And what we're trying to do is, as much as secure lifestyle as the concept, I said about the word security, people kind of have all sorts of associations. That's why we've made this subtle shift from saying security to secure lifestyle, because no one person, no one client's lifestyle is the same.
Right. And we actually, when we first had a conversation about your business and even the digital footprint, I was telling Kate a story how, when I started getting involved with some governmental organizations and had done some work in that kind of defense intel space, they had to kind of do the whole web scraping and really remove all the data that was associated to me, and that data was not necessarily created by me. And so I almost call it as I don't have to necessarily be a smoker in order for me to be a passive smoker.
100%.
Everybody, if I'm hanging out with people smoking, creating digital footprint, i.e. about me, then it automatically enrolls me in that space.
Absolutely, and we will be looking at anyone in an extended network that could provide a client with a vulnerability, particularly when we're looking at working with not just high-profile celebrity clients, but also people who want to stay away from rich lists and Forbes lists. and who are, you know, very wealthy and perhaps doing great things with their wealth, but don't want to be targeted because of their wealth, and also because of this societal shift around, you know, narrative against high net worth, ultra high net worth, or wealth accumulation. So, you know, we as a business are, you know, as much of a target for the sort of clients we work with as our clients. So we're very much learning with them that the ways and means that modern crime is committed is sometimes completely invisible. And so we have to be alive to new ways, new technologies, new products, new services. You know, we're trying to pioneer a kind of form of press cuttings for digital footprint, so that why are you going to wait for 6 months till I send you the report? Why don't we serve up in your inbox, like Google keyword alerts, when new risk and threat has come online about you, when pictures that your friends might have posted containing you might be aggregated
so
online.
you do almost like a real-time alert.
Yeah, exactly.
To avoid any further complications down the line.
Makes total sense, right?
Proactively combating it.
100%. And, you know, and again, that was something that was derived from a conversation with a client. So my job is to sit and talk and listen, as well as lead some of the teams. So the physical protective side, people often say to me, well, you know, the female close protection bodyguard tag, you know, it's quite holistic what you do. And I'm such a champion of the industry, because when you're working for somebody as their, say, head of security, you're not just there to be reactive. You're there to think proactively. You're there to think holistically.
Yeah.
And so as a business, there's no other business that's bringing that all together so that we can help our clients navigate through that. So it's the gender lens is almost sometimes, I love talking about, you know, the way that we need a more diverse industry, but almost the bigger issue is that we're living in a world where we all need to feel safe, and what is feeling safe. And for our clients, we're able to then try out these products and services that hopefully we can democratize so that we can fulfill our bigger mission, which is to keep the world, make the world a safer place, keep the world safer.
And I would love to actually dive into a little bit more in a minute, into the area where how can just normal civilians, you know, who don't necessarily need the protection on steroids, you know, with the multiple homes and all of that, how can they secure their lifestyle, you know, in just everyday life, whether it's digital or health or etc. However, I want to finish up on the pillars.
Yes, of course.
And just kind of have a good overview of the ones that we have left.
Let me just blitz this.
Let's blitz that first. I'm going to start maybe whipping your...
Yes, please. Whip
eggs
away.
For the omelette.
Before you do, just have a little...
The taste.
A little try of that. This, my friend.
That is green. Ooh, it smells very sweet now after the powders. Huh?
So in the Vital All-in-One, you've got, I believe, stevia or agave, so a lower kind of spike on your sugar. So it's still palatable without being...
It's like a dessert, for me.
It's it's not a low-calorie drink, but it's a, you know, you wouldn't need your omelette until later in the morning, if not for lunch. That's the idea.
Love that. That's delicious. Okay, let's get started with the omelette while you walk me through the rest of the pillars.
Yes.
And
so we've got our physical protective. We've talked about property, people, places. We've got the link then between the digital, cyber, IT, whatever you're calling your kind of, you know, management of your digital and your sort of online infrastructure. The feed off of that is what we call reputational security. And reputational security is equally as important, and everything I'm talking about can be applied to our biggest clients, but also, you know, man, woman on the street.
Right.
We all want to live a safe life, and I think some people forget that some of our online vulnerabilities can actually have an impact on our life, our work, our relationships. So you only have to look at the sort of rise of cancel culture.
What culture?
Cancel culture. So,
cancel
you know,
culture,
saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. A lot of the recent examples of people not sort of adhering to societal norms mean immediately somebody can go from being a TV presenter to not being a TV presenter.
To a villain.
To a villain. And I think, you know, this idea of reputation and reputational security is a really important one, because it can disable somebody from doing the very thing that is creating the wealth for them. So it's a really interesting area that I find particularly the amount of inquiries that we are having around how to optimize, how to manage, how to not just sort of look at a Google first page snapshot. And I would advise anybody to keep an eye on their first page of Google. So word to the wise is that you'll see turmeric. It's
staining you.
It's actually a sign of being a healthy person. So
when it stains you,
well, it's like I'm known, particularly with my clients. They'll be like, "What is this?" It's the kind of postmodern fake tan mark. You know, it's like
because you're consuming
my turmeric.
Okay, you're consuming all this healthy stuff. It leaves a mark on you.
Yeah, if you don't want to get orange on you, you can still use turmeric
powder.
And in fact, I would always pop a little bit of turmeric in anything I can, including
it's anti-inflammatory, so it's so good. It has so many benefits, right?
Totally.
Love that.
What I was saying about reputational security, I like them quite hot. Do you?
Sure. Let's test my tolerance for hotness. Yeah.
So, you know, reputational security can actually, if we sort of flip the model, something like that cancel culture example I gave you, happening in a very quick, say overnight to somebody, can have a real-time effect on their physical security. Somebody may need to go to a safe place. Somebody may need to, they may not feel, back to the emotional safety, as safe as they did before that issue happened. And it might be something that's not their fault or not correct and not true. And that's when, from our client's point of view, a team of specialists needs to come together quite quickly to walk them through that. And we're normally at that table having those conversations. So, you know, security, for some people, I think this stereotypical, outdated, outmoded view of security and
bodyguards.
Security guarding.
That's usually what the first word that comes to mind, right?
100%, which, and we're trying to dispel those myths and make it something that our online toolkits, our secure lifestyle toolkit, our bodyguard in a bag, they're all things that you can, do, buy. I always say one of the best things that you can have to keep you safe is a power pack and a mobile phone charger, because so much in our phones
connected
is GPS, it's letting people know you're safe, it's finding your way around. And who doesn't want to be that legend when somebody's phone dies that you can then charge it up, you know? So, but really simple stuff, and things that you can do that don't cost any money. And I think that's something that from our clients' point of view, we're constantly having conversations with them about the things that they can do to empower themselves, rather than us coming in and putting them in what's called a gilded cage and saying, right, I'm going to watch you now, I'm going to keep you safe, don't move. They want to go and live their best life, right? They want to go, travel, live, work.
Right.
So it's this proportionality thing where if a client doesn't want to understand situational awareness or basic principles of being a good online citizen, you know, we have clients saying, well, hang on, how have I got into this issue? And I'm like, because you wouldn't say that in the street. If you wouldn't go up to somebody and say some of the things that you may want to say
on
and
social
opinions
media,
you might want to have on social media.
Yeah.
So it's this kind of conversation with clients. The more empowered, the more aware they are, the more our job is done. And that's what we want. We don't want to be reacting to situations. We want to be helping clients in a proactive state, making sure that we can then fulfill our mission of producing more resources and helping keep the world as safe as it can be.
I love that.
So is this nice and hot now?
Yes, I think so. We can get started.
Yep,
you can use this one.
You've got a flat one.
Yes. All I do.
Thank you.
So just to go back to the area that I wanted to dive a little bit deeper on in terms of as regular citizens and civilians protecting themselves, what would be a number one or top two tips? Be aware and have a secure lifestyle in the most seamless, easy way possible.
So I think if we go back to the 4 pillars. So top thing physically, situational awareness. There's bystander training online. It's all free. I think L'Oreal sponsor one of them. Being a good physical citizen. So knowing when to step in, knowing what's a thing that you can go and not just be a bystander, but you can call out bad behavior. That's a really key thing that we don't all walk by.
But then there's also having a good judgment
100%.
where not to get into the heated moments where somebody can get injured because of your involvement.
Totally.
When to call for help and when to actually help.
Totally.
Right.
And that leads into the situational awareness training.
Right.
So honing your gut instinct, which flips into the emotional security part, which is if you're physically and mentally fit, you are able to perceive risk and threat in a totally proportional way. You're able to say, I'm actually not going to stand up to that issue that's happening on an enclosed train that's moving because I'm in a vulnerable situation. But what I am going to do is I'm going to make the call so that at the next station somebody can be helped. So it's the physical side of life is, I often say that not only situational awareness training, bystander training, but first aid training can be
That's
three of the most
super important
of the physical things that you can tangibly do. St. John's Ambulance does great courses. When you're doing your close protection training, there's a basic minimum standard of first aid. I did an add-on in pediatric first aid because I wanted to be, if I was going to be around women and children, able to step in and help in case, for young people and children getting unwell. And being able to step in. And I think this is the key thing, stepping in but knowing when to step in.
Right.
Digitally, I think, as I said before, this idea that if you are being a good online citizen doesn't mean that you have to sit back and watch people slander other people. It just means, again, knowing when it's right for you to step in and knowing when it's right for you to stay away and leave that conversation and not engage in that conversation.
These days, we have so much of that digital health in a non-healthy way. There's a ton of bullying that's resulting in suicides and really poor mental health, but also a ton of bystanders, not just bullies, who just watch it and do nothing about it. So,
and I think that's definitely, I think there's a conversation that we all have to have ourselves is what is acceptable, what is unacceptable, and our own digital safety is the sum of the parts of how we use our devices, how we protect ourselves online. Some of the really easy quick wins, our Secure Lifestyle Toolkit has a ton of them. Download, add them, LastPass, password manager. We've all been there where we're like, what's my password again? Store it, save it, have it on a keychain. Things like that can just really help to be those easy quick wins that you said.
Right.
Reputational, I have a Google keyword alert on my name, my family's name, my business name, pops into my inbox in the morning. So I'm able to see.
And that's pretty easy to set it up.
So easy, yeah.
Right.
You don't even have to have a Google Gmail account.
And so like anyone that publishes anything or talks about you, that will just come up as an alert.
Yeah, and like I said before about the sort of press cuttings of the modern era, that way you can start to see, oh, hang on, that's a forum about me and maybe that's not something that's correct or true, and you can start to then sort of see, particularly when you're building and growing a business, your own reputation and that of your business is really important.
Right.
So that's something that from a reputational security costs you nothing. Emotional security, physical and mental fitness. But I'd add physical, mental and brain fitness. This is the big area now, hence you see all the functional mushrooms that and the companies that I've been engaging with. If we are not looking at our brain health, brain fitness, then we can be as physically fit as you like, but we're not cognitively fit. And it's the cognitive function that will discern between real risk and perception of risk. So me taking my clients to a hyperbaric oxygen chamber session, proven science now, reduces brain fog, really helpful, used in elite performance environments, elite sporting environments. I want to be 1% better every day, and I want that for my clients too.
Absolutely.
So if the average person, what they can take away from this is their physical, mental and brain health is the most important thing that they can do to help them feel safe, but also tangibly be safe. I
love that. And on that note, our omelette is ready.
Yes, it is.
It has seen better days.
So this encapsulates my life. Perfectly nutritious, but could do better on the presentation.
I mean, I can't tell that by looking at you, but okay, I'll take your word on it.
It does the job, right?
Okay, let me grab a plate for that.
There you go. That's a bit prettier. It's got the sort of the mozzarella, the rocket, and you've probably seen I'm not very precise in my cooking. Because
I love a little bit. That's a very also, in Eastern Europe, in Middle East, we cook like little bit of that,
totally.
a little bit of sprinkle of that, and then you taste it and
totally.
see how it tastes.
Particularly for the Secure Lifestyle Super Smoothie, because some people might need a little bit more.
That is one hell of a looking smoothie, to be honest.
And also build up with the smoothie, build up the different, don't necessarily go for it straight away, you know, add the things in. It might be that you actually want to add different kinds of powders. Some people will maybe find that a little bit too, because I'm just obsessed with chili flakes. So
I love chili flakes. I do, but you might have just reached my tolerance for it, but I don't know. We'll see about that. So before we get to taste this, any single advice? You are a female who is trying to make a change from a more traditional corporate career into entrepreneurship, and just anything that she can do in advance or how to prepare herself to make that switch.
100%. So my life changed when I understood about the concept of ikigai.
And what? Ikigai?
Ikigai, yeah, it's a Japanese word, and it's
I was
ikigai.
like, as in like ikigai, and I was like, well, can we talk about this here?
No, ikigai, not ikigai. No.
I mean,
the Japanese word that is ikigai.
Okay.
And it's where your passion, your mission, your profession, and your vocation all overlap. Simon Sinek would call it your why. But I just really like the methodology, so much so I keep it on my home screen of my phone. It just reminds me what I do and why I do what I do every day. Because sometimes you can be in a job, maybe you're, you know, not necessarily in the job that gives you the most in terms of the sort of passion.
Right.
But you know, from a vocational point of view, sometimes you will, you know, want to be working and doing more of your side hustle, or you actually might want your side hustle to be the main thing. And if you are looking at the Ikigai framework, it's a really helpful framework to start thinking about, what am I good at? What do I like doing? What can I get paid to do? And what does the world need? And where you sort of literally write things in those 4 different areas,
Right.
the rest will just come.
I love that. And it's almost like a roadmap
100%.
that gives you a little bit of everything, a little bit of your happiness and what you love doing, but a little bit of what world needs, a little bit of what makes you money and pays your bills. So all of that combined, it's a perfect blend of a business.
Totally.
And it could really be taken as almost like a pre-work and validation of the business ideas that you might have.
100%. And you know, I talked to my 9-year-old niece about Ikigai. I talked to my 88-year-old father about why he still campaigns for, you know, better healthcare provision and where we grew up. It's because, you know, living in your mission, your purpose, your why, will get you through, particularly when you're setting up a business. You know, people say to me, you've set up a business in a male-dominated, it doesn't matter. Like any new business, particularly when we're not selling, you know, a tangible product.
Right.
We're a service business selling a new service. The odds are stacked against us. I'm a sole founder. I don't have a person to bounce ideas off. So bringing an advisory board together,
super important.
When you have your why, when you are literally, you know, I'm very lucky. I've found exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm absolutely convinced that if we could all come together on this topic of secure lifestyle, we would make the world a safer place. And that's what I want. And you know, the statistics around violence against women and girls, the statistics around domestic violence for men and women, are 2 of the main sort of drivers of that. I want those metrics to be something that in my lifetime we can make a change to.
And I have no doubt that you will be such a huge part of that change, and you've already have such a high impact on the industry. And this is exactly why I wanted to do this show, because it's not just about, you know, introducing businesses or inviting, you know, women that the world already knows, but also having women like you who is extremely well known in that specific industry that you work in and very trusted and respected. However, the wider world, I want them to know exactly what do you do and the impact you have, but also how can we all get each other and to make the world a better place and safer place. Shall we try this omelette? Because I'm like salivating.
After you.
Okay. There you go. So let's do the taste test.
It's quite handy actually. I'm quite hungry.
I'm more happy then.
Bit more chili next time, but
Yes, plenty of chili.
look at that, look at that.
Oh, delicious.
And again, you can. I went through a vegan phase, and you can use Vita. It's like a flaky yeast flakes. Same nutty flavour.
Okay. Oh, delicious. I'll take one more quick bite before. I'll give you a little gift from us.
Oh really? What's this?
Just to say thank you
Oh,
for coming here, sharing your story and your energy with us. We have a beautiful bouquet of roses for
So
you
cute.
from Flower Box.
oh,
And
I love flower box.
I know,
Love.
they're amazing. And you know, a perfect lady now in black and white.
I know. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure.